All right, hello everyone. Welcome to today's SAF-HOLLAND training session. Today we're going to cover the Holland FWAL fifth wheel. Some quick housekeeping things. My name is Tony Ryan. I'm the Technical Services Manager here at SAF-HOLLAND, which means I look after the field service group. To your left, you've got Dan Cohn, who is Director of Business Development for Trucks.
You got it.
All right, got it right, finally. Okay, this video is being recorded and will be put up on YouTube for people to watch back later on. So, to the next screen, there we go. All right, today we're going to cover some topics on the AL fifth wheel. We're going to do a product overview. We're going to cover fifth wheel identification, the lock adjustment tool, lubrication, inspection, lube plates, the adjustment of the fifth wheel. We are going to do a hands-on walk around. We have a fifth wheel here in the room, and then we'll also cover off some FWAL resources. So some product overview, the FWAL, the AL stands for an aluminum fifth wheel. It is the lightest weight fifth wheel in the market. It is for a specific use for fleets. So generally it would be tandem axles. If you're running tankers or something like that with 3 or more axles, we would not recommend it. It's generally for tandem axle setup. That's nothing else there. The other thing is the low loop plates that are on it. So you can see in the graphic in the top right there, there's a cutaway of the low loop plates in there. There is a honeycomb mesh behind that, which holds them out in as well. So there is a wear limit on those pads, which we'll touch on later on, but that graphic really shows you that honeycomb in there. But the no lube technology, it has not only no lube top plate inserts, but it also has front lock insert and pocket liners in there as well. So we'll cover that off further on. So the product overview, it's a lightweight aluminum construction. It has no lube plate inserts and pocket inserts, which we just mentioned. The simple lock adjustment system, we run through that with the fifth wheel here in the room. It has a closed loop release handle, so there's nothing that the spring bite when you get your finger stuck in. It has an automatic secondary lock and a 5-year, 500,000 mile material and workmanship warranty. So, as a technician, a fifth wheel comes in, you want to identify what brand, what model it is. On ours, not only is there a Holland logo machined into the aluminum fifth wheel, but on the left-hand side ramp on almost all our fifth wheels is a serial tag. On some of the older FWALs you may see around, the tag was mounted just above the bolt that holds the foot pin in, but pretty much now they are all built with the serial tag on the left-hand ramp. The picture in the bottom left there shows what the serial tag looks like. You will notice that there's a QR code on the serial tag. That QR code, it doesn't take you to our website, it takes you to a sister website that we have called POD Plus. POD stands for Parts on Demand. That POD Plus, when you scan that QR code, it doesn't take you to the home page and you have to type in part numbers or serial numbers or anything silly like that. It takes you to the exact page for the fifth wheel. You just scan that QR code. So you can literally scan that with your phone, your iPad at 3 in the morning, and it will get all the literature, service videos, anything that you need to be on that site straight for you to play with. Okay. The other thing I do want to make you aware of is there's 2 levels of part numbers that you'll see. They're called model numbers on the serial tag. There's a FW number and an XA number. You'll see there it's an XA number model on the serial tag. The reason being for the difference, an FW level part number is what we sell to the OEM, to the truck manufacturer. So that will come with not just the top plate, but it'll come with the feet, the slider, and anything else that was built into that full part number. Whereas an XA number is an aftermarket, just a top plate only. Okay, so if you do see a FW level part number serial tag and you want a replacement top plate, just let whoever orders it know through your dealer, distributor, and let our CSRs know that this is the top level part number, but I just need the top plate. We break it down to an XA level part number. Otherwise, you're going to be ordering, feet, slider, whatever else was originally on that vehicle, and it becomes very costly for parts that you don't really need. So on the FWAL, there is a few different generations. So I work from generation 1 up to the current generation to Gen 3. So the generation 1, you're seeing figure 5 down there. The block retention block has 1 bolt in it, whereas generation 2 has 2 bolts to go in and hold that lock insert in. And then generation 3, which is figure 3, has a grease port in the left-hand side of the wheel. Okay, so between that lock insert, how many bolts is in it, and the grease port that's on the left-hand side, you can tell whether you have a Gen 1, a Gen 2, or a Gen 3. Make life really simple for you. If not, you can always give our CSRs the serial number. They'll be able to tell you straight off that. All right, so we've already been through a lot of this. The FWAL has no lube plates, so you don't need to lubricate the fifth wheel and contact surfaces. In fact, we recommend you don't, because all that does is attract road debris, grime, dirt, anything else that becomes like sandpaper. So we recommend you don't do that. One other thing that we did touch on a previous session today was, can we run slip plates on a upper coupler on a low lube plate like this? No, you can't. Even if the slip plate was there by design from the trailer manufacturer and the kingpin is the correct height, it's still going to run nylon and nylon, and they do not like each other. It's just the ball up, stick to each other, and you're going to have issues when we try to slide and turn on each other. So we do not recommend that. It should be running on a steel upper coupler. So next point is lubricate the locking mechanism every 3 months of 30,000 miles. That's pretty much a common interval with all our fifth wheels. And then at 6 months, 60,000, we want you to clean the lock mechanism completely. And you'll just check everything over with the fifth wheel from there. While you've cleaned everything off, make sure there's no bent, broken, missing parts, any cracks, anything like that you want to have a look at. That's due time to do it. Once you've cleaned everything off at that 6 months, 60,000 miles interval. All right. If you are running in snowy or icy winter conditions, we're based in Michigan here. We see all this every year. You should be doing a seasonal maintenance, which is performed every spring, in addition to routine lubrication. Okay. We recommend seasonal maintenance every 6 months, so generally in spring and in fall. So fall, just to give it the greatest chance to go through winter without any major issues. And then the spring, just to give a spring clean to make sure it's all good and get all that gunk from the winter off. Lubrication. So we do recommend a water-resistant lithium-based grease to lubricate the swing lock, contact areas, and the cam train. Okay, so you'll see there where the graphic is. You see the cam track and the swing lock there where it says to do it, and then the others require a light coil, which is the hook pin and the handle pivot. Okay, very simple where you need to lubricate. Also apply lubrication to the swing lock using a grease zerk on the left-hand side of the fifth wheel pickup ramp. I'll show you that when we go live with the fifth wheel here in the room. So you're going to thoroughly steam clean the top surface of the fifth wheel for a visual inspection. This is your 6 month, 60,000. If one or both lube plates is missing, that's an issue. You have to replace that. Lay a straight edge across the lube plate just to make sure they are flat. They haven't come loose. They haven't bubbled up, done anything like that. Lube plates that are severely chipped, worn, cracked, bent, etc. Make sure that you're not looking at any of those issues. That will also cause you to have to replace the lube plates. Again, we did mention if you're worn through the grooves and that honeycomb is showing through, replace that as well. And 20% or 40 square inches or more of lube plate coating is missing from one or more both lube plates due to normal wear or damage. In any of those cases, please replace the lube plate. When you're doing any lock adjustments on a fifth wheel, we thoroughly recommend that you use a proper lock adjustment tool. If you have something like that on the right-hand side there, a kingpin welded to a bar, please throw it out and get the right tool. That one on the left, TFTLN 5001, is the part number. You'll notice it has a almost like an upside down Y shape. It's designed like that so it has 3 points of contact on each fifth wheel at any point in time. So you know that the kingpin is perfectly perpendicular to the fifth wheel where it needs to be. Okay, it's not skewed, cranked to one side on a weird angle. You're never going to get a correct adjustment. Okay, and the other thing is we don't know the condition of that fifth wheel on the homemade rod either. All right, if a fifth wheel is locked, slide the release handle forward and pull completely out. This is how you start the adjustment. Set the lock tester on the fifth wheel top plate. Lock the fifth wheel, rotate the handle, lock tester clockwise until the lock closes around the pin, which will show you that. Basically, putting the lock tester in, putting the J hook down underneath the front skirt and cranking it up and using the leverage from the tool. Okay. And what's that? Slide the lock tester forward and backwards, close the lock to check the play between the lock and the kingpin. Ensure the tool remains flat before contact on the fifth wheel top plate. So what that's asking for there is you can move it forward and backwards just to check the free play in there. You can also measure, I think actually it's the next slide, tells you how to, there it is, tells you what you can measure. So you can use a pin gauge or you can even use drill bits if you need to, but the maximum free play is 80 thou free play. So they're the measurements that you want. So the minimum is actually 40 thou, and they're the 3 drill bit sizes. If you had those, you can use those. And there is a slot in the lock tester that will show you where you can put those down just to double check those. To do the adjustment on the FWAL, there's a cap screw under one of the lock pins. Undo that cap screw, grab a pair of channel locks, and you crank that eccentric pin around 1 notch. You shouldn't have to adjust more than 1 notch. Adjust it, put it back together, and do a cycle test and make sure it's correctly adjusted. Okay, and we'll show you how to do that, but only adjust it 1 notch at a time. Verify the proper adjustment, unlock, relock the fifth wheel, and just make sure that it's correctly adjusted. We'll show you that. You can rotate the lock tester from side to side just to make sure it's not over tightened. You will notice a distinct difference in a fifth wheel that is over tightened. It's very hard to rotate that lock tester from side to side. If it's over tightened, it just grabs the kingpin. It's so tight. So that'll cause both steering issues and kingpin wear as well. All right. And then the last step is just disengage the J hook out of the lock tester from the front skirt. Very simple. And like I said, we'll run you through that as well. All right, minimum free play should be 40 thou, as I mentioned before, and maximum is still 80, exactly the same. So that's why the same graphic is there. Just shows you exactly how to put the J hook in and what to rotate. This video, there is a link to this video in this presentation. You can look this up. It's there's a Vimeo link there, but it's fully available on YouTube for anyone who has access to that, to watching this video back on YouTube. You just literally search for a Holland FWAL fifth wheel, and it will show you the lock adjustment and all the rebuilds and all the videos that go for that fifth wheel. All right, very quickly we sped through that. Let's go and have a look. Let's go and do the hands-on session. You want me to be cameraman?
Sure.
Move it again. All right.
All right. Backside of the fifth wheel, underside of it. Here we're just going to point out a few things. One are the studs for the lube plates, holding those down. You want to make sure that all these nuts are engaged. They are lock nuts. Make sure they're all there. You have one back here, one here, and 3 on each side, 1 down on each side of the ramp. So make sure those are all intact. Lubrication, we covered that. Water resistant lithium based grease on the swing lock and hook where that contacts, and also on your cam follower right here. So grease there. The only place that we're going to have light oil is on the hook pin and on the handle where it attaches to the cam. So light oil here, grease here, and grease in here. Okay. Pretty simple. What we use, TFTLN 5001. Any top plate that takes a 2-inch kingpin can use this tool. You see we have a slot in here. This is where we're actually going to stick the pin gauge to check to make sure we have at least 40 thousandths of movement or no more than 80 thousandths. Flip this thing over. All right, top of the wheel, you can see the wear grooves that we have here. If these grooves are gone, you're going to want to replace the plate. Likewise, if you're missing more than 20% of a plate, you're going to want to replace that. So there are going to be scrapes, gouges, some material missing. That's fine as long as it's less than 20% on each plate. We also want to check, use a straight edge to check and make sure that the straight edge does not touch the outside skirt. If it's touching the outside skirt, it means this material is worn away and it's time to replace the plate. Good thing to clean the plate with, Dawn dish soap. You want to keep these things clean. The lube doesn't bother them. The PTFE is inert to chemicals. It's not the lube, it's the stuff that the lube attracts. So dirt, dust, grime, it'll wear it down prematurely. We warranty these things for 2 years, 200,000 miles in non-highway application, obviously depending on what you're running in. But yeah, 2 years, 200,000 miles, should be able to get that out of it. We talked about the various generations of the top plate. This one, I can tell it's at least a Gen 2 because it does have 2 bolts holding the lock insert. It does have a grease cert on the side for greasing the kingpin. Can we get around there and see that? So with that grease cert, I know that this is a Gen 3. So, all right.
Something else to look for when you see a vehicle come in. Just also have a look at the condition of the fifth wheel. You can see here that this is not a new fifth wheel, and on the low lube plate here, you can see that someone has high hooked there. Someone's hit something that they shouldn't have and completely missed there as well. So, all right, come back.
All right.
You a little bit so I can get the camera. Apologies for the camera work.
Take our lock tester, insert the J hook. Fifth wheel is open. We're gonna lock it up. And this is where we, pull back using the leverage on the tool to pull back. And then stick your pin gauge down in here, okay? Pin gauge or drill bit. You're looking for 4.5 movement here, okay? There should be at least 40 thousandths, no more than 80 thousandths. That's where you're going to check. Another way to check it, it's the same way that we use to check the FW35 TT, is to pull this bar all the way back, scribe a line across the back, push the tool forward, scribe another line. The distance between those 2 lines is how much play there is in that fifth wheel. And again, here we're looking no more than 80 and no tighter than 40 thousandths. You should be able to, if it's properly adjusted, freely move a lock tester. It should not be hung up or anything. If you have more than 80 thousandths, this is where you're going to make your adjustment. You're going to pull this cap screw out here, channel locks, turn it to the next slot, put your cap screw back in, cycle the fifth wheel. Okay. Go. Move it out, cycle the fifth wheel. And verify that you have at least 40 thousandths and no more than 80 thousandths there. Okay? Up and going. The other thing we want to check is the hook and jaw to make sure that it's properly coupling. There are 3 checks on the fifth wheel to know that it's properly coupled. One is that the upper coupler is flat to the plate. 2 is that the handle is pushed in, and 3 that the jaw is around and locked on the hook. Okay, so you can see this handle is out here. We'll go slowly to push this kingpin up in. You hear that click? Handle moved a little bit, okay? But not a whole lot. Should be almost in line with this ear, okay? With that handle all the way in. This is not properly locked, okay? That hook is going around, but the lock has not come behind it. You need to activate it like that. Now it's properly hooked. Flush against the top, handle is in. Tony's going to go around the back and look at that lock.
Okay. You with me? I get my flashlight out.
In the right area.
There we go.
Okay. Hook and lock is there. Just open it again and we'll run through this sequence. So you can see how the hook comes across. There, still not locked. Now it is. Okay. Handles in, can't come undone.
So when your drivers do a visual inspection, this is what they're looking for, is that hook has to be around the lock jaw like that. Okay, if that's not what they see, it's not locked.
All right, anything else that we need to cover?
The kingpin gauge.
Kingpin gauge, this is what we call the license plate gauge. This is not a Holland specific dimensions on here. These are industry standard dimensions, and we can use this for a 2-inch and a 3.5 inch kingpin. Use it for measuring flatness. Stick the kingpin gauge up there to make sure there's no gap between the upper coupler and the top plate. And then also using it to check proper kingpin height.
Yep.
Whether it's the 2-inch or the 3.5.
Do you want to visualize the inside of it as well? So it's a go, no go gauge.
Inside. Oh, we just
Did you just break my tool?
I just broke your tool.
Wow.
So, yeah, doesn't matter which way we go here. So if it slides in there, you know that you have, your neck is, far too much. Same right here on the, 2.88 inch, measurement. If it slides in there, you know it's off. If it slides in here, you know it's off. You flip it around this side, same thing on your 3.5 inch neck and shoulder.
Yep. So essentially what you do with that tool, folks, is you put that around the kingpin, put your finger in the other end, and then rotate it around 360 degrees, because the kingpin will never be worn exactly the same all the way 360 degrees. So make sure you're always trying to find that low spot just in case it's worn in a weird shape, which they always are. All right.
TFL, TLN 5001. Always have one of these available. We like to see them with the handle having no paint on it. That means it's been used a lot.
Yep.
The only thing you should use for checking and adjusting Holland fifth wheel with a 2-inch kingpin.
Thanks,
back to, not too bad for being sent. It's good. All right.
All right, let's just run through the last of the presentation. All right, some available resources. So we do have our main website, which is SAF-HOLLAND.us. If you do accidentally click on SAF-HOLLAND.com, it will just take you to our global website. You've got to hit USA and then you've got to hit English. And it'll take you to what is .us anyway. Very simple. We have the FWAL owner's manual. There is a link in the page there. FWAL rebuild and repair manual, seasonal maintenance, lube plate replacement, and then a lube plate replacement service bulletin for oversight holes. So there's lots of manual numbers that are available there. If you are watching this on YouTube, obviously those links you won't be able to click on them, but they are the manual numbers you can put into our website. And you'll be able to find them very, very easily. If you want to, you can search for SAF-HOLLAND, or that is the site that's called the SAF-HOLLAND. There is also available both on Vimeo and YouTube, the FWAL coupling and uncoupling video. You can search for them on YouTube. Vimeo, you have to have the direct link, but if you do need that, let us know. We can certainly send them to you for people who have YouTube blogs, or they have their own. You have your own training system, LMS system. We can certainly share those as well. They're really good for driver training as well, so we thoroughly recommend them. And then we have the lock adjustment procedure, the rebuild procedure, and then there is also a third video with both of those combined if you want just one long video that covers both ends of the spectrum there. So, if you do need help, this is the technical services group. This is my group. So that's me in the top left-hand corner there. That's my email and phone number. And then we have Ronnie Hines based just out of Indianapolis. Ben Dartes is in Salt Lake City. And Kyle Hinton is in Kansas City. And then we are still running a two slightly different companies based on SAF-HOLLAND acquiring Haldex. So we still do have separate emails for any warranty and service issues if you want internal person. So yeah, you can certainly email either service@safholland.com or haldex.warranty@safholland.com, and that will get you to the respective department that you need. And that is all we have for today. Please, again, if you do have questions, get in contact with us. Our details are in there. Just rewind the video slightly. You get our contact details. Send us an email. Call me on my cell phone, and we'll be able to help you as best we can. But yeah, if you do have questions, let us know. We'll help where we can. Other than that, we'll wrap this up. Thank you very much for everyone's time. Hope you learned something.